So I want to start off with my own personal journey about how I acquired the hearing loss. By the way, my disability is kind of invisible. You can't really tell, but I'm actually wearing hearing aids on both sides of my ear. You can see if I bring it up close to the screen, it's a very small hearing aid that I have. I actually I only discovered that I had a disability when I was about 8 years old. And one last thing that I really want to call out is, as someone young that, picked up a disability, I always wonder what would I be like when I grow up. I always think of, back then I was thinking of like, why would anyone hire a person with disability when they could actually hire someone without a disability? Because as a person with disability, I might not be able to hear the phone calls as well. So why would they want to hire me over another, right? So I think these are at a young age, being exposed to such thoughts, I think it was not very helpful, very stressful. And therefore, I do this sharing with people with disabilities and as well as here to really just educate and also raise visibility about such challenges that people with disabilities face. But at the same time, it's not just, I would see as challenges, but also I think this could be actually overturned into strengths that people with disabilities can actually leverage and bring it to their everyday lives, to the workplace. And I honestly, why I actually went into this DEI space and working in the disability employment space early in my career and choosing it as a career path is, I truly believe that people with disabilities have a lot of value that they can bring to the organizations, and that they are an untapped talent pool.
I really like when you actually said that these are my weaknesses. These are the things which I lack. That's something which is very difficult to convey, to share, to reveal. That's a very good quality, actually. Because then that way you are setting the expectations, especially when it comes to a two-way communication. The moment you say that, yeah, you know what, these are my barriers, these are my limitations, these are my weaknesses, you're expecting the other person, you're putting the burden on the other person, saying you make sure that you explain things in the right way. Otherwise, they take things for granted.
So I have one question, Marcus. How can we be a better advocate for accessibility and inclusion, particularly, say, in low-income communities where the access to even assistive technology may be limited? So what do you think, based on your experience, how could we work on those?
And maybe just to follow up on the earlier part about Google in general, I think why I chose to work at Google is I think it's more of their mission, very strong mission. If you look at Google's mission, is to arrange the world's information to be universally accessible and useful to everyone. And I think that's a very powerful statement, and you can link my passion for disability and to what I'm trying to do in the workplace. It's all linked together. That's a clear business case. Yeah. And then on the office environment, I saw one question about that. So in Singapore, we have this government authority called Building Construction Authority. So they actually released like building accessibility codes for buildings to be to adhere, to be accessible. And on top of that, they also have this like gold standard. We call it universal design practices. So there are companies that look into universal design principles, and that helps to create a truly universally accessible place, such that every people with disabilities would, can go to the space and find it universally accessible.
Just curious to know, what sort of sensitivity do you look forward to from people, able-bodied people? Think helping people with disabilities is the correct thing to do. To treat them specially is important. How would you like people to treat you?
That's a great question. I think a lot of times people are afraid of helping. They're scared of offending. I think one thing that comes to my mind is intent, the power dynamics. So I think sometimes people want to help the less fortunate, kind of like it's a feel good thing. They help. It's actually like they are looking down, and therefore I help. So one thing I will always do is try to bring yourself to the same level as a person with disability. You're treating them as equal, and don't assume the help that they need. If you assume and you just help, it's like you're kind of like, oh, looking down on them. So go down to the same level and then ask before you help. So I think.
Awesome. Marcus, thank you so much. I know it's what, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying back and being part of the roundtable. I always learn a lot from you, and I keep loving, I love the stories that you share every time we catch up. And thank you so much for all that you do. All the best and keep inspiring. Thank you so much. Yay.